I spent the entire year of 2025 looking to achieve one goal, and that one goal was, can we become the first company to build an AI operating system that allows one person to be able to build and scale a business past $1 million a year, only leveraging AI. And for the first time, I wanted to make a video to show you what we have discovered, and most importantly, because I believe that we've built the infrastructure that can finally allow this to be possible. Just to show you how much we've been focusing on product, we don't even have a website for our platform, which is called TryCook AI. We don't even have the ability for you to apply to book a call with my team so you can actually get a demo and be able to use the platform. But we've probably seen the most amount of success after launching this platform. I launched it officially on August 26th. The first day we launched it, we made over 6 figures in a day. The following 4 to 5, 6, we made almost $1 million. Actually, we were $60,000 away from making $1 million in 5 weeks, which is unbelievable. The best way for me to introduce this platform is by going over the 3 most important insights that we had to acquire in order to have the confidence that this could actually be built. The first one being, what kind of features would an AI operating system and AI platform need to have to be able to allow one person to be able to add an extra $1 million in revenue to any business in any market without having the founder have prior knowledge and expertise in that industry? That was the first question that we needed to solve. The second one was we needed to actually go in the future. I'm talking about 5, 10, 20 years in the future. Imagine a world where one human with an AI operating system with a bunch of agents could generate millions of dollars. Like, what does that human become? What is the new role? What is the new identity of that type of entrepreneur? We needed to also, the second point was we needed to figure out the new identity of entrepreneurship in this new world. That was the second most important insight that we had to discover. And the third most important insight, which is probably what led to this whole thing even becoming a project, was why is there an AI race in the first place? Why is every single person paying attention to AI? Why are governments focusing on AI, wanting to own every single infrastructure layer of this AI economy? I'm talking about China wanting to build all the chips in China instead of buying chips from NVIDIA. I'm talking about Trump signing orders to build the Genesis mission, right? Building literally a technology force, just like they have the Air Force. They're now building a tech force with over, I think, 1,000 employees who are going to be focusing on building the AI kind of like operating system for the United States. Trump is even going to the extent of signing an order that essentially makes all regulations for AI companies to come from the federal level instead of a state level. And the reason why he did that is because he believes that if every single AI company has to go state by state to get their regulations, it's going to slow down the development and the progress. So he's making it so that only one entity can make all the regulations so that it doesn't slow down these companies. Besides looking at government trends, another group of people that I started paying close attention to were venture capitalists. And most importantly, looking at how starting in 2022, most of their money started being allocated into AI ventures. I'm talking about just in 2025 alone, they've invested almost $200 billion. On average, that's $500 million a day going to AI ventures, AI companies, not just putting money into AI ventures, AI companies, but also going after every single layer of the stack, going after chips, going after data centers, going after companies that are trying to rebuild, since one of the biggest bottleneck for AI is actually energy. After noticing that all the smart money was paying attention to AI, guess what? In 2023, I decided to go all in on AI. But the biggest issue that I had in 2023 was that I still didn't believe and see the potential that I see today. Back in 2023, the main tools, AI tools that we had access to be able to sell to businesses were things like AI voice agents, and they weren't actually that good. But something that pushed me to pay more attention to it was this case study in 2023. We had this 16-year-old kid who was already implementing AI voice agents into companies, right? But the issue was he was selling it for $500, $1,000. He came to us because, for context, my main business is a growth consulting business. It's called clientacquisition.io, generated over $10 million from simply helping agencies, consulting businesses, online service businesses essentially scale. Our job is we build a playbook and we build the infrastructure and we implement it into someone's business to allow them to scale past, 10, 20, 30, 50, 100 grand a month and beyond. And he started working with us. And the first thing that we did was, hey, we believe that at $500, $1,000 per implementation, you're not really going to make any money. It's super commoditized. So instead, we got him to start positioning his AI voice agent implementation service into an AI growth infrastructure. He started selling growth as an outcome and implementing AI to essentially facilitate that growth. And he started charging $10,000 to $12,000. The first client that he got was a real estate investor that paid him 12 grand after a 15-minute call. When I saw that case study, I was like, holy shit, there is something here. And 3 months later, after signing his first client for $12,000, he hit his first $50,000 week. 5 months later, he hit his first $100,000 month. I was like, holy shit. The thing back then was that the market demand for AI was so big that I was like, holy shit, we might have something here. So we decided to go all in. And since then, just in the last 15 months alone, I believe we've helped over 300 AI service businesses launch and scale, right? right? We have clients in every single market that you can think of. And all we do is literally build and release AI growth infrastructures into different companies. I'm talking about dental. I'm talking about med spas. I'm talking about in real estate. I'm talking about every single niche you can think of. We're probably selling AI growth solutions into. But this wasn't enough because this is still a human doing most of the work. It's not really an AI business. It's an AI implementation business. That still wasn't exciting. And you're not necessarily going to build $1 million business as a one-man person still running that model, because you need integrators, you need marketers, you need salespeople to be able to scale that business past $1 million a year. Now, what led me to believing that actually one person could build $1 million AI business? Well, this started when I realized that it was possible to productize frameworks, knowledge around how to scale into GPTs. For those who don't know, GPTs is essentially on ChatGPT. If you open it, you can essentially codify your knowledge. Let's say you know how to build an offer. Let's pick Hormozy as an example. Instead of him writing books, he could build a GPT on how he builds offers, and he could give you access to that. GPT was essentially an assistant that has his knowledge around how to build offers, and you could use it. Well, if you can do it for offer building, you could also do it for lead gen. You can also do it for sales process. You could also do it for how to create ads. You can do it for a lot of things. Once I saw that possibility, a light bulb lit up in my mind. I was like, well, what if instead of selling information, what if instead of selling coaching, what if instead of selling services, you could just codify and productize all your knowledge into agents that know how to think just like you? And what I decided to do was I decided to build an engineering team. Not that you need engineers to be able to build GPTs, but I wanted to figure out if there was a way to build a platform where you can actually have a bunch of agents that work together. And I hired my first engineer to go after that mission. His first goal was, hey, can you take all our processes, all our workflows in clientacquisition.io that we use to scale businesses? Can you put them into agents and put all those agents into a single platform? And he started cooking. AI implementation is based on people doing the work. This one here is you productizing your knowledge into an AI platform that anybody can use to essentially experience an outcome. After we built the first iteration of our platform, I realized a few things. But actually, before I tell you what we realized, I want to tell you something. What we did not do is the approach of every single AI platform out there of focusing on one single use case. There are so many AI tools out there that can help you create content. There's a lot of AI tools that can help you do appointment setting. There's a lot of AI tools that can essentially become your growth consultant, that can consult you and answer all your questions. We did not go that path because we believe that the future was not that one human is going to go use this platform here, and then they're going to use another tool for this, they're going to use another tool for that, and then spend all day long switching from tool to tool. We realized that that was not the right architecture, so instead we decided to put all the agents in one platform. But even when you have all agents that can do every single step of essentially going from zero to making $1 million, essentially building all the assets that $1 million business needs, you still wouldn't predictably, consistently build $1 million business, even if you have all the AI agents that build every single asset of $1 million business. Why is that? We realize that business and markets are not static. Every single day, the desire of a market changes. And the way that a market is sold, they also become sophisticated and start essentially resonating to the message, to the sales process. And as you guys can see right now, the trust is at an all-time low. So you have to adapt. So even the strategy that you used to essentially make $1 million last year, it may not actually work today. So we realized that having all these agents was not the answer. The most important part of making money, at least for my journey in the last 5 years of being in business, was never how to do something. You and I know someone who can build anything, but they can't make $1 million to save their own lives, because success is built off of two pillars. The first variable is execution. It's, can you actually do something? Can you execute? Can you put together a plan? Can you hire people? Can you guys put in the work to actually get the output that you guys want? But that is not the most important variable of success. The most important variable of success is knowledge, but not any kind of knowledge, not the typical traditional knowledge principles. I'm talking about insights. I'm talking about truth, the ability to know what the market wants today, how they want to be sold, who is the best market to go after or segment within a market to sell, how to get their attention, how to convert them, how to price the thing you're going to sell them, the best business model to leverage today, the best everything, right? I call that the truth. Regardless of when you're building a business, you need to build it on the truth of that time. And if you have the truth, the knowledge, the insights, and then you connect it with the AI agents and execution that can build off of truth, you can then make it inevitable for you not to build $1 million business. So guess what? Once I realized that the most important pillar was not execution with AI agents and having essentially agents that can build all the assets you need to build $1 million business, but instead it was the ability to find the truth so that these agents can essentially execute on the truth. We started orchestrating a bunch of AI agents on our platform to focus on one thing and one thing only, which is, can we be able to find the truth in any market at any time? Find the best ICP, the best avatar to to go after, find what they want to buy, what problem they're dealing with, discover how to sell to them by simply finding a competitor who's already selling to them and solving that solution for them, and have everything that they're leveraging. I'm talking about their offer, their funnels, their sales process, their price point, every single detail around how someone is already winning in that market, and you have already someone who's already selling to that segment, and you have all their assets. Then you can take all this data, all this insight, and then leverage the operating system to replicate all of them and allow you to launch in less than an hour. And that's essentially what we've been able to do. We've been able to solve the two most important variables around making anything work in business, which is find the truth of what's already working, stop guessing. Every single person in business fails because they're guessing at every single stage. They're guessing their market, they're guessing their ads, they're guessing their sales process, they're guessing at what price point, they're guessing the business model, they're just guessing all day long. And even worse, what they're doing is they're trusting that someone who's already made millions of dollars is going to create a consulting program, create a coaching program, and that they're going to teach them everything that they did 5 years ago to make millions of dollars, and that you're going to be able to replicate it and make money just like they did in 2020 or in 2023 or in 2024. It does not work like that. The moment that someone wins and everybody knows how they win, the path becomes non-viable. And that's why traditionally every single person who goes through courses never wins, because they're getting a playbook that used to work but does not work today. And one of the most important things that I believe our platform has created is the ability to democratize, the ability to find what works today. Not yesterday, not last year, not 10 years ago, but right now. Who's advertising today? What is the funnel? What does their VSL look like? How is their sales process looking like? Which segment, which avatar in which market are they going after? Because you could go after this segment in the same niche while this other person is making $1 million a month just by going after a more specific avatar in that same niche. And I believe that the future of building and scaling is you don't have to rely on any person or on any mentor for you to actually be successful. You're just going to need AI agents that can go find the truth that you want. Just to show you how wide the application of this truth engine of our platform works, we had someone who built consumer apps, and he wanted to essentially discover and get data in the market of women that just had babies, postpartum mothers, and figure out what AI app that he could build for them. And guess what? He leveraged our AI platform to find the truth, find the demand, find the offers, find the ads that were already going after that market, and figure out exactly what was working in that niche. This has nothing to do with what we do. We focus on building and scaling companies. Primarily, we use our AI operating system and our truth engine to find what offers are killing it, what funnels are working, what ads are killing it. But you could essentially use it to go find, if you want to build an AI app for a specific niche that you know nothing about, leverage AI to essentially go find it for you. And that, in my opinion, blew my mind, because we initially built this not necessarily to have people who want to build apps and find demands and markets where it can actually work. We built it so that we can actually learn how to scale businesses. With everything that we've built with the AI platform, I'm talking about the truth engine, which is the part around finding what's already working in the market, and the AI operating system behind the truth engine. We believe that a new type of founder is being created, and I'm calling them AI architects. The traditional protocol around building $1 million a year business or $1 million a month business was you needed to find a strategy, you needed to find a market, and then you needed to hire a bunch of people to execute on this strategy. Well, today, you don't really need to do that anymore. All you need to be is someone who's disciplined, who's curious, who's courageous, and let AI find you the truth, and then guide, orchestrate other agents to essentially replicate all the assets that essentially is already creating millions and billions of dollars into the market that you essentially find insights in. Leverage AI to find the truth, leverage AI agents to essentially rebuild all these assets, and replicate $1 million a year strategy, $1 million infrastructure a year in a single day. Preferably, you want to do that in less than an hour. I believe that we're going to completely reshape what it means to build a company online. And I wanted to make this video just to essentially break down the story of what we've essentially discovered and what we've essentially built, and just lay the seed that the future is already here. You do not need to struggle because you don't know what works. You do not need to struggle and be stuck below $1 million a year because you don't have a team that you pay $100,000 a month. If you want to make $1 million a month, you know people are already making it. Why don't you go find everything that they're doing and replicate it with AI without having to hire a funnel builder, without having to hire a media buyer, without having to hire a sales consultant, a sales architect, without having to hire a customer support person. Just leverage AI agents to find the truth and rebuild everything that you essentially need to sell and that you need to deliver. And in my opinion, this is the most exciting time to be an entrepreneur. If you're not cooking right now, what are you doing? It has never been easier to be an entrepreneur today, but until we had built this platform, I still thought that the reality of being able to be one person business and scale past millions of dollars was not possible until we connected both of these pillars together. Everybody right now in the AI space, they're either telling you that, oh, you're gonna get rich with AI, but then they're telling you that you need to go learn everything and do everything yourself. That does not work. That's not being leveraged. That's literally still you running through the old model, through the old reality, but just selling AI. The new paradigm of being an entrepreneur is becoming an AI architect and leveraging an AI platform that essentially allows you to find what works, replicate what works in less than a day. And in the next few videos that I'm going to be making, I'm going to actually be giving you guys a walkthrough of the actual platform so you can essentially see everything for your own self that essentially I've been describing in this video. As I've said, we've already launched this platform, but unfortunately we didn't necessarily focus on promoting it, on marketing it, and having a nice website and having a great way for you to get a demo. But what we've been doing is onboarding users and clients through a cohort model because we want to offer every single user a white glove experience and actually educate them on how to leverage this entire platform to succeed, because it is not as easy to leverage if you don't understand how to leverage it to its full potential. But if you're interested in joining the next cohort, you can click the link below and join our next workshop where I'm going to be opening doors to the first cohort of Q1. I'm so excited for you to see what we've built, and it's going to change so many lives. I appreciate you. Take care. See you in the other videos. Bye-bye.